Welcome to the Gift Podcast. Okay. Hi. Oh my gosh. Just hi everyone. Oh my gosh, I was recording a while ago for the intro and then now I don't know, it got cut. But anyway, welcome to the very first episode of this podcast. Like I cannot believe it too that I'm opening a podcast. Thank you to the person who you know, who gave me the idea of like opening a podcast. Never have imagined that I would be opening a podcast, not until that person mentioned that. I mentioned it dun sa Instagram story ko. So thank you very mucho. And yeah, welcome to the very first episode. I cannot believe I'm opening a podcast. But today's topic, okay? Today's topic is very a lot of people ask me this thing, and you probably saw the title of this podcast or this episode, but today we will be talking about productiveness. Kasi, madami kasi sa inyo na kasi di ba nakikita nyo yung vlogs ko, and most of the time, grabe naman, I'm productive kasi most of the time. Kasi I believe that time is gold. Promise. Like, time is gold talaga for me. So, alam mo, I'm that type of person na, what do you call that? I'm very selfish when it comes to my time. Like, I don't waste my time on something that's not worth it. So, for me, time is gold talaga. That's why most of the time, I am doing something and I am doing something productive. But anyway, so many of you guys on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok always ask me how do I maintain my productiveness? How am I always productive? Actually, hindi naman ako productive all the time. Kasi may times na nagsa-slack off ako. And most of the time, yung mga times na nagsa-slack off ako, sinasadya ko. Like, for example, oh my god, I've been doing too many things. So today, I'm just gonna slack off today. Like, even though kating-kati na ako, I really want to do something productive. Pero I tell myself na, okay, just slack off today. Kasi ako, medyo workaholic ako eh. Hindi sa work and stuff. But, yeah, gusto kong, kailangan may ginagawa ako. Hindi ako, mapakali if wala akong ginagawa. Parang masasabi ko sa sarili ko, okay ba to na wala akong ginagawa? Parang, feel ko may something wrong, 'di ba? Madami sa atin yung ganyan eh, na hindi ka mapakali kapag wala kang ginagawa. So, may times na I tell myself that, okay, for today, you're gonna slack off. Like, recently, it's currently, I don't know, you're probably listening this in the future, but it's currently April. Specifically April 12 a.m. Yeah, it's 12 a.m., guys. But especially now that kakatapos na ng Holy Week. So, no may one day sa Holy Week na sinabihan ko talaga yung sarili ko na you're gonna slack off today, okay? Do something. Do not do any work or stuff today. Any school works or any yung mga YouTube and stuff, yung mga social media content creating works, editing. Wag, just slack off. Okay? Just be in bed. So, may times na parang sinasadya ko na nagsa-slack off ako. Para naman to give myself a rest bitaw. Kasi I barely have, yung mga lazy days. I don't have much lazy days. First, actually, this Holy Week, I had one lazy day. By lazy day, I mean all day nasa bed. Or nanonood lang ng K-drama, walang ginagawa and stuff. So, for the first time yun this Holy Week, my one day. And then, that was the first time na nag-lazy day ako. May lazy days kasi ako na sinasadya ko na on that day, lazy ako. Stuff. Baka yung iba dyan, baka yung iba dyan, nasasabi nila na, ako lazy palagi, ako lazy araw-araw, ganun naman ako palagi and stuff. So anyway, ako kasi, workaholic kasi ako eh. So, kailangan may ginagawa talaga. I think that's also one thing that, ano, like, contributes on my productiveness kasi my mindset is hindi talaga ako papakali if wala akong ginagawang trabaho. Kasi feeling ko sayang yung time eh. Pag, if I'm just, like, tama ba tong wala akong ginagawa, nagigitara lang ako, nanonood ng K-drama, usually kasi I work a lot pag afternoon. So, if for example, I barely have free afternoons. I do not have free afternoons talaga. And if may free afternoons ako, parang nasasabi ko sa sarili ko, okay lang ba to? Hapon na tapos wala akong ginagawa. Yung mga ganun na questions. So, yeah, I would say that being workaholic contributes a lot to my productiveness, but I'm not saying that you should also be workaholic because it can be very like bad. Yeah, it can be very bad, so do not be workaholic. It's just I'm just yung nagso-storytell lang pa. Ah, nagso-storytelling pa lang ako, okay? So, yeah. I think me being like a workaholic person, I should not be like that. Eh, hindi naman siya workaholic, pero like, anyway, time is gold kasi sa akin. So, kailangan talaga may ginagawa ako. And having that mindset, I think contributes a lot to my productiveness and stuff. Yeah. So, ganun siya. Also, like, don't pressure yourself to be always productive. Kasi, okay lang din naman na like, mag-slack off ka. Wag lang palagi, of course, kasi too much of anything is not good. So, for example, too much productive. I mean, like, too much work, you're doing too much work and stuff, and wala ka ng rest. So, of course, hindi din yun good. And then, if you're slacking off too much, you're always ka in bed, wala kang exercise, wala kang ginagawa, of course, that's also not good. So, too much of anything is not good talaga. But, anyway, do not be, like, pressured na dapat palagi akong productive. Kasi yun nakikita niyo sa social media, even including me ha. Hindi naman sa pinipeke ko yung mga vlogs ko. Pero, yung mga vlogs ko, usually ha, saka na ako nagvo-vlog 'pag may ganap ako. Ay, hindi naman ganap, pero 'pag may ginagawa ako. Alangan naman magvo-vlog ako na wala akong ginagawa, 'di ba? Ano 'yan, eh, ano yung ivo-vlog ko? So, of course, magvo-vlog ako on a day na for example, may school works ako, madami akong ginagawa. Dun yun nakikita yung time management skill ko. Kasi usually, oy, grabe, gabing-gabi na tapos nagpapasirit pa ng motor. Anyway, kasi usually ako, 'pag may school ako, which is all the time, like madami kasi akong gagawin in one day. Kaya usually yung mga vlogs ko, 'di ba, hindi hindi ako usually nagvo-vlog sa mga day off ko. I mean like yung mga nagvo-vlog naman ako 'pag weekends. Saka na 'pag may ganap ako on that weekend or and stuff. Kasi usually 'pag weekends nag-e-edit ako, eh. So, ano ba ivo-vlog ko? Wala naman akong sinasabi 'pag nag-e-edit ako, 'di ba? So anyway, 'pag may school kasi ako, madami akong ginagawa. So, diyan yung nakikita yung pagiging productive ko and diyan yung nakikita yung, like, good time management skill ko. So, yun yung nakikita. Pero, I'm not like that all the time din naman. Well, I am like that all the time. Pero, like, may times din na hindi ako ganun ka-productive. And it's okay. May times din na tamad ako eh. Pero that actually rarely happens kasi my number one rule, okay, eto na. Wow, I'm slowly connecting things. Even though na like tinatamad akong bumangon, ayokong bumangon today, very tiring naman. Anyway, wala namang klase, so why not stay in bed? Ganun na mga thoughts. The reason why I still get to do productive things, even though ganun na yung thoughts ko, even though tinatamad na talaga akong bumangon, ayoko talaga bumangon and stuff, is because I have discipline. So I do think that when it comes to productiveness, it's not about like motivation and stuff. Like, you do not look, I mean, motivations, they do help, like motivation to do things and stuff. Pero motivations kasi are like, most of the time, they're temporary. So, oh, mawawalan ako motivation. Daw be. Daw be. Nagbisaya na ako. So, paano na if like mawawalan ka ng motivation, edi hindi mo na gagawin yung task mo, di ba? So, temporary lang kasi yung motivation. Kaya, most of the time yung mga tao na nagtatanong sa akin, "Anong motivation mo?" Yung yung sinasagot ko talaga sa kanila is discipline. It's always discipline. Even though hindi mo gustong gawin 'to, even though ayaw mo mag-workout, even though wala kang motivation na mag-workout, mag-go to the gym, it's discipline that will, pull you out of your bed. Pull you out of your bed, tama ba 'yan? But yeah, I do think that discipline is very important when it comes to doing productive things, gano'n. Kasi hindi naman palaging may motivation yung tao eh. It's the discipline, it's how you think. So, for example, today, I do not want to do my workout kasi wala akong motivation and stuff. Wala akong event. Kasi usually pag nagpo-Pilates, pag nag-workout ka, 'di ba? The reason why you're working out is because most of the time may event kang aatenan, you're gonna go on a diet kasi may event kang aatenan or pupunta kayo ng beach next week or next month, so mag-workout ka. Pero kapag tapos na yung, for example, pupunta kayo ng beach next month, for this month, grabe yung workout mo and stuff. Pero pag tapos na yung beach, yung pumunta kayo ng beach, yung that day, eh ano, mag-pig out ka. Hindi naman pwede yun, 'di ba? So, sayang yung workout mo for like the whole entire month and then ipipig out mo lang after nung day. So, what I'm saying is that, hindi dapat you should not rely on your motivations. Kasi, it's nice to have a goal though. Like, may goal ka na, okay, dapat in this day, dapat toned yung abs ko kasi pupunta kami ng beach, and stuff. So, it's nice to have a goal. Pero, dapat after that goal, kasi yung goal yung motivation mo eh. So, dapat after that goal, dapat you're still gonna work out. You're not gonna stop, 'di ba? For example, I do not want to do my workout today. One thing that helps me is like discipline. Like go pull yourself off the bed and then grab your clothes and stuff and change clothes and then you do your workout. You do not rely on motivations because they're temporary. But it's nice to have a motivation too. It's just that do not rely on them. Do not be dependent on them too much. Kasi, pag wala na yung motivation mo, hindi mo na din magagawa yung task mo, di ba? And stuff. Also, one thing that, when it comes to like working out, someone told me that if ayaw mo mag-workout, if hindi mo feel mag-workout, dress yourself. I mean, like, usually, pag sa bahay lang kasi nag-workout, pwede lang kasi naka-pajama mag-workout, di ba? Most of the time, ganun yung ginagawa ko eh. So, medyo nakakawala siya ng motivation. Di ba? Ay, hindi naman siya nakakawala, pero wala siyang motivation and stuff. Pero, one thing that will motivate you if you want to work out is go change clothes. Go change to your workout clothes. Mag-leggings ka, mag-cycling shorts ka, and then mag-sports bra ka. And then wear shoes. Even though nasa bahay ka, wear your running shoes if you're doing some cardio. Huwag kang don't work out with your like barefoot. Go wear shoes para ma-motivate ka. So that's one thing too, okay? To motivate yourself in like working out. But of course, that's temporary. But it helps actually. It helps a lot talaga. My times na like, oh my gosh, I really do not want to work out, but I just, change clothes and stuff and then, oh, feel na feel ko na mag-workout kasi naka-workout clothes na ako. So, I end up doing my workout, which is nice. And stuff. So, yeah. Also, for me, one thing that I do every day is, this is like another tip on like being productive. One thing that I do every day is I schedule. For those of you guys like who do not know, this is like a tip, okay, that I personally do. I actually use Google Calendar. I use Google Calendar and then I write there everything that I have to do on that specific day. You write, kasi I forget things so easily. So I use Google Calendar to like write, to like put all my schedules and stuff. If for example, if sa school mag-a-announce yung teacher namin ng LT. LT is like a long test. If may test kami, I immediately put it on my Google Calendar para hindi ko siya makalimutan. Sa Google Calendar nakalagay yung mga kailangan kong gawin in one day. And then, when I wake up on that day, I have like, beside my bed, I have like a very small notepad and a pencil. And then I go through all the things that I have to do on my Google Calendar, and then I write them sa notepad with timestamps. So for example, I have to sa Google Calendar nakalagay na, oh, today is Saturday, so you have to do your laundry, you have to edit your video, you have to do your Pilates. So yung gagawin ko is when I wake up, I schedule it like on that notepad. Like nilalagay ko yung time kung when ko siya kailangan gawin. So for example, 10 a.m. Okay, let's do my laundry 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And then 12 p.m. I eat my lunch up to 12:30. And then pagka 12:30 to 1 p.m. I rest. And then 1 p.m. to maybe 4 p.m. I do my editing or yung mga kailangan kong gawin, mga emails and stuff. And then 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. I do my Pilates. Ganun. Sinusulat ko siya. It's better to write things for me personally. Kasi mas, I don't know, mas, hindi ko naman siya memorize. Pero I think it works better for me. So yeah. And then also, do not multitask bitaw. Most of the time kasi tayo, or ako, pag, for example, sa Google Calendar ko, ang dami ko kailangan gawin. Like, hala, ang dami ko kailangan gawin, stuff. And then, umagang-umaga pa lang, no-overwhelm na ako kasi yung pagtingin ko sa Google Calendar, full yung schedule ko. I mean, full lang yung mga to-do list ko and stuff. So, ma-overwhelm ako. Pero, yung yung pagsusulat bitaw sa, like, notepad, yung sinusulat mo lahat ng mga kailangan mo gawin sa notepad with the timestamps, it really helps kasi na-organize siya eh. Na-organize siya, na-organize din yung thoughts mo and na-organize yung mga kailangan mong gawin. So, I'd say na like, doing things step by step is really helpful. Do not like look at the big picture of the day. Like, do not think na, ala, ang dami kong kailangan gawin for today. Think about like the thing that you have to do now. Schedule it. Like, for example, it's 10 a.m. What do I have to do at 10 a.m.? For example, I have to do my laundry. So you just think about the laundry. Do not think of the other things yet that you have to do for the day. For example, the things that I mentioned kanina, if I'm doing my laundry, do not think about like, oh my gosh, ngayong 1 p.m. mag-edit pa ako and stuff. Kailangan ko pang gawin yung Pilates ko. Ang dami ko pa kailangan gawin stuff. Do not think about that. Focus on the thing that you're doing now. Do not like let your brain multitask. Kasi, naglalabada ka pa nga pero yung utak mo, it's stressing about editing na. So, focus on the thing that you're doing now and wag kang mas-stress sa mga kailangan mong gawin later on that day. Take things easy. Like, do things step by step. One thing at a time. And one day at a time. Yan talaga yung sinasabi ng mama ko eh. Kasi ako, I worry about, I live in the future, guys. Like, seryoso. Ganun nga din yung mama ko eh. But I think my mom is like better. But, I live in the future. So, for example, this week, I'm not thinking about this week. I'm thinking about next week. Next week, ano mangyayari? Next week, anong video i-upload ko? Next week, ano mga kailangan kong gawin? Next week, anong schedule ko this day and stuff? Next week, may meeting ako and stuff. So, I live in the future talaga. So, take things easy talaga. One day at a time, one step at a time, one task at a time. Do not multitask kasi masistress ka. And then, you're gonna get stressed and then overwhelmed and then hindi mo na feel yung mga kailangan mong gawin. Like, ayoko na, gaganon ka, and then it will result to an unproductive day if masistress ka. So, wag kang magpa-overwhelm because if you're overwhelmed, you're not gonna feel well, and if you're not gonna feel well, you're gonna have an unproductive day. So, yeah. Also, I read this on like the book called like Atomic Habits. It's a really famous book. I would recommend it. One thing that I really remembered from that book is you I don't know how to say it, but like I think there it said that to do if you're doing something in corporate, like I'm just gonna give an example, okay? So for example, I have to do the dishes sa dinner, but I do not want to do the dishes. So like wala akong motivation. O eto na naman, motivation naman tayo, mga temporary motivation. Kakasabi ko lang kanina na do not depend on it too much, pero ngayon I give you tips on like how to motivate yourself on doing your task. But anyway, for example, I do not want to wash the dishes, but I have to wash the dishes. So yung gagawin mo daw, according to the book, is you incorporate something that you like while doing that task. O, di ba, kakasabi ko nga lang din kanina, wag mag-multitask. Tapos kayo, ngayon, sinasabi ko sa inyo na mag-multitask kayo. Anyway, um, eto siya. For example, for me, I like watching K-dramas. So, what I will do to motivate myself in doing the dishes is while doing the dishes, I watch a K-drama para ma-motivate ako. 'Di ba? Like, yung thought ko is instead of like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna wash the dishes, it'll change to like, oh yes, manonood ako ng K-drama because I'm gonna wash the dishes. Ganon siya. So, I think it really, actually, I've been doing that like, for a really long time already. Pero hindi ko siya na-realize not until I read that book. So, na-realize ko din, oo nga no, yun din yung ginagawa ko, nanonood ako ng K-drama every time I wash the dishes. And then it motivates me. Like, go watch a show while you're washing the dishes. Go listen to a podcast. Usually, these days, I've been listening to podcasts while doing the dishes. So, I listen to podcasts every time I wash the dishes. So, namomotivate ako. Like, oh yes, I'm gonna wash the dishes, so I'm gonna listen to a podcast. Ganun siya. Or if you're like going to the gym and stuff, and then if you're in a treadmill, like, go watch a show while you're in a treadmill. Like, yes, I'm gonna run for today, so I'm gonna watch something on the treadmill. You know, yung mga ganun, you have to like incorporate something to a task and stuff. So yeah, yun yung sinabi sa book, which I think it will really help. So well, if like you're gonna wash the dishes, go watch a K drama. If you're gonna do Pilates, um, watch a show while doing Pilates or listen to a podcast while doing Pilates. If you're doing something, usually yung mga ganun, yung mga watch a K drama while doing something, ginagawa ko siya if I'm not using my brain and stuff. So yeah. So yeah. Actually, I've been avoiding this topic because I have so many things to say in this topic. Pero nakakalimutan ko talaga siya and I have to outline things that I have to say. Pero ngayon wala akong outline and then nag 30 minutes na tayo. Magto 30 minutes na tayo. So, yeah, madami pa akong gustong sabihin for this topic, productiveness. Ewan ko nga if may natutunan kayo for this one. Pero, yun talaga. Basta, yun na yung ano, let's just end this podcast. Just be disciplined talaga. Be disciplined and do not rely on others, do not depend on others, and do not depend too much. You can depend, but do not depend too much on motivations, temporary motivations. Kasi, of course, if mawawala na yung motivation, if tapos na yung motivation, wala na. Wala ka nang, ayaw mo na gawin yung task. So, ganon. 'Di ba? So, anyway, yeah, I hope I don't know if I said the things that I really wanted to say. Madami akong gustong sabihin for this topic eh. Pero I don't think na-cover ko siya in this one episode. Kasi, malilimutan kasi ako, anong tawag nun? Malilimutan kasi ako na tao. So, yeah. Anyway, let's just end this podcast. Goodbye, everyone. Good night.